An important note before we begin, this webinar is a great starting point to help familiarize yourself with the new features in 15A. As I mentioned, we will discuss the impacts and benefits of the features for this release. While this webinar covers most of the features included in the release, it does not cover all of the features, nor does it cover all of the design considerations for each. Before planning your own upgrade, it is important to review what features are important and impacts there may be for your own organization. Also important to note is that we will only be covering the 15A feature pack and the changes contained within that release. If you are jumping multiple releases, it will be important for you to review each of the releases that you will be consuming. First, we will review the impacts of the recruiting product. Prior to release 15A, customers were able to create automated tasks to delete candidates, requisitions, templates, and questions. However, it was possible to delete requisitions only if no candidate submissions were tied to them. Now, the automated task feature also allows customers to configure rules to permanently delete these candidate submissions. It is important to note that submissions can only be permanently deleted. The options to delete and to allow the data to later be restored, or to delete while allowing the data to be later used with reporting, are not available for candidate submissions. As with other automated task deletion options, there are several criteria available to define which candidate submissions to permanently delete. Additionally, there are new criteria available when creating a candidate deletion task, including the ability to include or exclude candidates based on user-defined fields or UDF values. This new functionality was introduced to allow compliance with your country-specific regulations regarding candidate data retention. It will also allow customers to effectively reduce the size of their database by deleting candidate submissions and, in turn, delete past requisitions associated with those submissions. There is configuration required in order to set up these candidate submissions for deletion. It is important to note that going forward after 15A, the onboarding or transitions setting that will automatically delete old onboarding transitions processes is enabled by default for new and existing customers. When upgrading to 15A, the default value of this setting will be set to 5 years or 1,825 days. System administrators can modify the default value or disable the automatic deletion completely by changing the value to 0. There are additional changes to existing functionality that does not have an immediate upgrade impact. These can be reviewed in detail by reading the release notes. The lists of agents and agencies in the agency management portion of the recruiting administration can now be filtered based on specific criteria. In prior releases, it was difficult to effectively manage the list of agencies and agents because there were no filtering options, making it difficult to find the agency or agent of choice. With 15A, administrators can now filter the list of agencies or agents to only show data that match specific criteria, including the name of the agency or agents, email address of the agent, services provided by the agency, including contingent staffing, internet mining, media placement, sourcing strategy, and staffing, and the name of the agency to which the agent belongs. This feature is available by default, and there is no configuration required.